Okay, well, good morning, everybody. We have lots of folks here to celebrate this with. And I say celebrate because these are things we don't often talk about. They're the behind the scenes rules and regulations that govern ethics and lobbying in our city, but they're so important. They're some of the underpinnings of our very democracy. And of course, they ensure accountability and transparency as best that we can at the city of Albuquerque. And fortunately, we've had a lot of city councilors and a lot of organizations help us work on this. And we're very pleased to sign into law just in time for this election. Actually major revamp of our ethics and election codes. So a couple of things that I want to mention. This is our city's first step forward when it comes to ethics and lobbying ordinance since 2006. And this also deals with a lot of challenges we saw in even the election that I was a part of a couple of years ago with respect to our board of ethics and how that operates. This legislation will depoliticize that board, also professionalize it, and it's going to ensure responsiveness, which I think above all was one of the major challenges that we had in the past. And so this is a much needed refresh, and it's a reflection of the fact that democracy functions best when everyone can access public information and hold government accountable. Now, I want to acknowledge a lot of the folks. We have a couple of speakers, and I'm going to get to them in just a minute, but let me acknowledge some of the other groups, especially if anyone wants to talk to them after. So we have, I'm going to hold the speakers for a second because we'll get to them. And I want to mention we have folks from FOG, Foundation for Open Government. Give us a wave. All right, good stuff. We also have Common Causes here, I saw. Excellent. And also NM Ethics Watch. Great. And did ACI make it? ACI. Not sure. Yeah. Not right on. ACI and League of Women Voters also, and New Mexico First. So these are all wonderful groups that work on these issues day in and day out, both at the state level and locally. And now, actually, because of the first time we're going to disclose a lot more around lobbying and require that, you will all have much more to follow and track in terms of what's going on at the city. So we had lots of city councilors sign on and help with this. I want to start by introducing our council president, Clarissa Pena. Councilor?
Thank you. Well, I will just be brief. I've asked Councilor Sanchez to kind of speak on our behalf, but, you know, I'm just really proud and honored to be able to be part of this legislation. I think it's important as we move forward as a city, you know, transparency and how we interact with people who are advocating at the city is just critical. So, again, I was proud to be a co-sponsor with these great folks. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. And also another one of our co-sponsors, Councilor Borrego. Do you want to say a few words? There you are. Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having us here today. We're really delighted to have all of these people supporting this legislation and the mayor's office in cooperation with the city council. It's important to the public that they recognize that everyone is being, you know, open and transparent and fair. And I think that it's important that we let our government employees know that, you know, this is the sort of marching orders that we're all moving forward with. But thank you all for being here today.
Thank you, Councilor. And Councilor Ken Sanchez.
Thank you, Mayor. It was an honor to co-sponsor this ethics bill with the members that are here today, but the vote was unanimous. It wasn't a partisan vote. Both Republicans and Democrats voted for this ethics bill. And when it comes to ethics, we should be making sure that we are at the very highest standard. I think the new board will be made up of individuals that are not going to be partisan in any way or not being involved in any campaigns. And I want to thank Katie Duhigg, our city clerk, who's done a remarkable job in working with our city attorney, Chris Melendres. I also want to thank Stephen Aguilera for his work. This has been a team effort, and it's been 13 years since we've had ethics reform here in the city of Albuquerque. And we must, again, make sure that we cooperate at the highest standards. There's no better trust and no more important trust than public trust, because we must basically live up to the highest standard and ethics that we possibly can as elected officials. People rely on us to make the right decisions. And I'm just very pleased to see the various groups that are here today pushing for open transparency when it comes to elected officials. You know, we need to live up to those high standards. And also with the lobbyist bill that is now in place, it is critically important that we are also working with lobbyists to assure that they follow rules and regulations and that they live up to their standards also when they do come and try to lobby members of the council or the mayor's office. But again, Mayor Keller, thank you very much for your work. I think we've done some incredible work here. It took a little longer than we anticipated. I think this was in the works probably for 6 or 7 months. But Katie, thank you very much for your professionalism and what you've done here with this legislation with us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And our bipartisan sponsor also, Don Harris, Counselor.
Thanks. And I'm not going to add too much because a lot of important things have been said, but just a reminder that our democracy actually started in cities. The word polis, or politics, comes from polis, which is the Greek city-state. And throughout history, really, innovations in democracy have been born from cities. And the city of Albuquerque is now the leader of another innovation regarding ethics and transparency. And for our democratic system of government to function properly, people need to trust it. And so we're taking a very important step forward to increase the transparency and accountability in the city of Albuquerque, and that can only bode good things for our future and for our future of our democracy. And as the mayor said, this is one step forward. We're going to continue to improve. So thank you.
Thanks so much. Okay, now we had our kind of quarterbacks on this, of course, with all things legal. We have our city attorney, Steve Aguilar, but we also, especially in this arena, have an amazing city clerk. And so she put a lot of work into this, and to walk us through some of the details, I want to introduce our city clerk, Katie Dewey.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The clerk's office is committed to working with Mayor Keller and the City Council to increase accountability and transparency in the work that we do. And through these reforms, the Board of Ethics will be depoliticized by requiring for the first time that members of the Board of Ethics meet certain criteria. For example, going forward, members of the Board of Ethics won't be able to work on city campaigns, raise money for city races, lobby city officials, be city contractors, while they're serving on the board. The ethics bill will also require that complaints that are sent to the board are resolved in a timely manner so that voters aren't facing a situation where there are lingering ethics complaints when they're headed to the polls. And these reforms have kept transparency at the forefront, ensuring that the public's right to know what's going on is preserved throughout the entire process. And that commitment to transparency is also reflected in the lobbyist bill, which requires that lobbyists do meaningful disclosure of who they're working for and what they're working on. And we'll be working with lobbyists to provide all the resources and education that they need to comply with these new standards going forward. But our office looks forward to the opportunity to work with both the Board of Ethics and city lobbyists, and we really appreciate Mayor Keller and the City Council's commitment to transparency on these issues.
All right, thank you so much, Katie. And what we'll do is we really want to get these signed because we need to use these in the current process that we're going through with respect to elections. So Katie and I, who appreciate, you appoint a lot of folks, and so I'm glad both our city attorney and city clerk so far have worked out great. And but we're going to sign this together because we're the two people who sign on these. And so we're going to go ahead and do our signing, and then if you have questions, you can just ask people after. And then for advocates or folks who worked on the bill, we do have some of our traditional signing pens for you also. Okay, so I think now we're going to do that. So I'm going to scoot around here. Okay. So, and actually, if you guys want to kind of snuggle around, feel free. And so Katie, you have to do like one letter of a pen, and then.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This is the fun stuff. It took me like 6 months to learn how to do this. And also, what's today's date?
The 22nd.
Okay, so like you do your 22, and then pen down. Yeah.
Okay.
See. All right. October.
It's a race.
We'll get all of them official here. So.
He's got some practice in. Yeah.
It's a fun tradition. I saw Marty. I have a pen from Marty Chavez once, and one from. both governors, except the Governor Martinez pen, for everyone's enjoyment, was a veto pen. She was vetoing one of my bills. And in her own special way, she was very happy to give me one of her veto pens. So, I still have it. Okay. Those are yours. You already finished, huh?
I did.
I know, too. All right, I'll just do a little dot there. Circle it. I was 3 short. Okay. Oh, but you gotta go there. That's what we did. We're supposed to switch papers.
Right.
All right, now it doesn't matter. You can just use one.
There, I'm coming.
We've never been able to sign something at the same time, so this is kind of fun. Good work, Clarissa. Saw your name already on there. All right, congratulations. Thank you, everyone, for all the hard work.